After dreading the upcoming appointment all weekend, Lester entered his office at 7:15 on Monday morning in an attempt to beat Edna Coffman to the meeting, only to find her having already planted her sizable girth on the 1920s-style mahogany wood bench directly in front of his desk. Edna was scrunched up on the far right side of the bench with her ever-present 90-something-pound bulldog, Otis Othello Coffman, the seventh, sprawled out and filling up the balance of the available bench space. He had rolled over on his back with legs splayed, his huge head nestled in her lap. Otis half opened one eye to somewhat acknowledge Lester as he politely patted his massive skull and greeted the big lug by using his entire handle to include the final portion of his surname, the seventh. Lester knew when meeting with Edna that it was always wise to address Otis with proper pomp and circumstance. Since Lois wouldn't be in until 9 o'clock, Lester hurriedly threw on a pot of coffee and checked the little fridge on his back counter, hoping that Lois had remembered to put in some fresh half-and-half. It was well known to Lester, Lois, and anyone else who frequented the main school office that Edna demanded half-and-half over that goddamn sissified French vanilla or pumpkin spice kind of crap. Fortunately, Lois had come through in the clutch again, as a full container of half-and-half was placed front and center. "Well, Lester," Edna began, "as I trust Lois passed on to you, this is your annual review as it pertains to your position as athletic director, and therefore your responsibility for the current state of the football program. And since you, in your role as the AD, recommended that we hire you to be the girls' basketball and volleyball coach last year, we'll need to review the status of those two programs as well. But first things first," Edna continued. "God damn it, Lester, we've got a bad situation on our hands with the football program. As you should know, we have a long and storied tradition of football excellence here, going way back to when my Uncle Clarence coached the Bulldogs in the 30s. In the 30s, we went 6-3 against the goddamn Catholics, and Clarence always said he had no doubt we would have been 7-3 against St. Francis, except the drought was so bad in 33 that no one in central Montana donned a helmet that year. Now, I hate to bring this up, Lester, but we went 6-2 and made the playoffs in 85, the year before I hired you as superintendent and AD. Granted, we didn't beat the goddamn Catholics that year, but we were at least respectful when old Dean Dobbs was the head coach here. But then he left, and I gave you free rein, and you hired that worthless SOB Tim Stratt. We went 4-4 in 86 and 87, 3 and goddamn 5 in 88, and back to 4-4 last year. And one of those wins was only because Marshall had to forfeit to us due to a bad streak of injuries. So in my mind, we were a 3-5 team again. So we haven't made the playoffs since 85. And worse yet, we haven't beat the goddamn Catholics since 80. Let me repeat that again, Lester. Not since 1980. As Lester's natural blonde and pale facial features continued to redden with the embarrassment of being Edna's whipping post yet again, he attempted to counter. "Now, Edna, I didn't have much choice in hiring Tim. As I hope you remember, I had Kyle Tyler from across the divide over at Charlo all but hired. But he took an assistant job at Whitefish only a week before the season started, leaving us high and dry. Tim was the only other candidate, and since our longtime assistant coach T.O. Barker made it once again clear that he had a farm and ranch to run and didn't have the time nor the interest in taking the head coach position, I had no other alternative